Hello, this is John.
Hello, John. How's it going? This is Todd.
What's up, Todd? How's it going, man?
Thank you very much for doing this. This is great.
Oh, good. Should I be doing video or?
It's up to you. I was doing video. Sometimes
Okay.
I find it easier to talk when I can see the person's face.
There you go. That works.
Yeah.
Let me a little more personal, I guess, huh?
Yeah, for
The
sure.
video. Let me put my charger on real quick.
Sure.
These iPhones don't last too long these days.
No.
I'm watching the VMAs right now.
The VMAs.
Taking a break from work. I don't really know any of these people singing.
The only reason I know what the VMAs are is because I just saw a Instagram photo of Riff Raff and Katy Perry.
Oh yeah, I saw that. She's got pink hair, right, or something? Pink cornrows.
Yeah.
What's her name? Her name is
Katy Perry?
Nicki Minaj.
Oh, Nicki Minaj.
She's got a big booty.
Yes, she does.
Oh, you know who she is?
Yes.
Yeah. Anyway. Yep. Thanks for doing this. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you. This is exciting.
Cool. Yeah.
The first time I ever saw you skate in person was in 1996
Oh.
at ASA in Vancouver. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I remember that. I was doing a lot of sidewalks there.
Yes, and that was the very first time I ever saw someone do a sidewalk.
Yeah.
Was when you busted it out, and it just like blew my mind.
I think it was a shotgun rail.
Yeah, it was one of the big ASA rails.
Yeah, it was a shotgun steep rail. I don't really remember much of the course. I remember there was a down rail, a launch box, and a quarter pipe.
Yeah.
Maybe there was more, but. And what was the guy's name from back in the day? He was sick. He's from Canada. Oh, I forgot his name.
Think about Dave Ortega.
No, he's from Canada.
Not Dave Ortega. No.
He's a ski. I think he's a snowboard too.
Not Nicky Adams. Old school. He used to drink a lot. He used to smash bottles over his head all the time.
Maybe.
Dave Jarvis.
Dave Jarvis. Yeah.
He disastered the big rail.
That's right.
On the fly
he
box.
Was sick.
Yeah.
I wonder what he's doing now.
Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah. Long time ago.
That was a long time ago.
Vancouver.
So, tell me the story of like how you started skating, how you discovered it, and.
Okay. Well, how much time do we have?
Lots of time.
What was it, 92? Actually, I've been skating for a long time, but most of the people that I'm surrounded by, maybe because I live in Southern California, they've been skating as long as me, and, whether it be 92, 93, it was 92. About high school, all my friends, we used to all do the same things, I grew up in a very high populated, Asian, Filipino, multicultural school, Milpitas, and we all just clung together. We're all Filipino kids, and all in the same things: DJing, music, breakdancing, and then I think we just started. Well, what was the first thing we saw? It wasn't Airborne. It might have been Airborne. We just started seeing it everywhere, and Airborne was out. In the movie Airborne.
Yeah.
And Chris Edwards was in that. But it was during this time, and then I think we saw Daily Bread. The Purple issue. That was one of my first Daily Breads. That's the one with Dave Ortega. Yeah, Dave Ortega was on the cover of that, but his name wasn't Dave Ortega. It was something else. He was doing a soul grind on the smaller set at the Brooklyn Banks. I don't know if you remember that issue.
I don't think so. No.
Okay, well, that was the first Daily Bread that I ever saw.
So you were already skating at this time when you saw Airborne,
Yeah, I was already skating.
Okay.
Yeah.
And all your friends were already skating.
Yeah. We were playing hockey first.
Okay.
Yeah, we were playing street hockey. That's what the whole city was rollerblading. Everyone was rollerblading back then. And hockey was the entry for me and my friends. And then we saw Airborne, and we saw, we were already kind of doing stuff like rolling downstairs, and but then, and then like in '93 or so, it just was everywhere, You could see like our, Hoax. I think it was Hoax that came out like not too far after that. Well, actually, there was more. There's like Vertical Access came out. I don't know if you know that movie. It was a skate film with AJ was in 40 ounces.
Yep.
So that was another film, and the Hoax obviously was the biggest impact. Arlo came out, and he just blew everybody away with how raw he looked and how his whole persona, and I mean, I wanted to be him. He was like, everybody wanted to be him. So he was obviously the most. Actually, he was the most influential, but Edwards also, for how big he can skate as far as like the vert and parks and just how comfortable they were back then on transition, because back then I couldn't drop into anything. It took me out. Maybe I was starting to skate transition better. Oh, I don't even know. 94. I just started maybe.
Yeah.
So it was just purely street. Just skated street.
Yeah, because you probably didn't have a skate park in your area or anything like that.
Yeah, the closest skate park was in Pleasanton, and it was like 20 minutes, 20 minutes away. But we didn't have big parks. We didn't have vert ramps at all. We didn't have mini ramps. We didn't have quarter pipes. So actually the closest one was actually Monterey, and that's like an hour and a half from where I grew up, and that's where I met Dayton Coopersmith.
Okay.
I don't know if you know who Dayton Coopersmith is. You probably do. Of course, you been skating for a long time. And he was crazy. He kind of introduced like this whole new world to me in skating. He just went big, He could skate the launch box properly. He could do airs over that thing, like overhead, 6 foot 360s. Like back then, that was just insane to me, to everybody, because everyone was just street skating, and that was just kind of like what we could do, and we want, that was the entry for what we're, for everything. So, but Zach Webby Murphy, he was another guy. They used to do. They were involved in this team that did shows, launchbox shows called. It wasn't called Team Parrot. What was it called? It wasn't Team Nouveau, because that was in the Bay Area. I can't remember right now. They did the Montreal Classic. Not Montreal Classic. Oh, what was it? Sea Otter Classic. Sorry, my memory is really bad. Sea Otter Classic was a contest series that happened. They used to do one a year, and then they were doing a couple smaller ones to lead up to the Sea Otter Classic. And this was like one of the bigger contests back then, only contest back then, and that was in Monterey, and that's where I met Zach Webby Murphy and Dayton Coopersmith and Team Adventures. I think that's what it was. And they just did these launch box shows and launch ramp shows, and they would launch over van or cars, and it was back then. It was cool, but maybe it looks kind of corny now for sure. But back then it was just like, they were doing it and no one else was doing it. So, but anyway, getting back to transitional skating, I guess like that was like Dayton and Zach Webby Murphy, and going to Monterey a lot. That was like the closest park, and I would go out there with John Starr. Who else was there? Some of the San Jose guys, like. But mainly, I used to skate with John Starr like pretty much every day.
Yeah.
As the mid '90s to the late '90s started to roll over. John moved over from San Luis Obispo, or actually Atascadero, and then I skate with him all the time. So, and there's also the 408 guys like Reduta, Rob G, Donnie Garcia. There's a lot of guys, but they were like, they were smaller, they're like a generation younger, but we all just kind of, just naturally skated together.
Yeah.
But John Avina, that was another one from Fremont. Skated with him a lot back in the day. Johnny Hedges and Eric Garcia. All the Bay Area.
Were you skating for much longer than a lot of the guys that you're mentioning, or?
Yeah. I was, well, it's kind of, that's what I was trying. I guess I was trying to say that earlier, was just I've been skating as long as a lot of people, that are around these days, and I am definitely a generation before maybe Garcia and most of the guys, like definitely Rob and the 408 guys. Me and Jon are kind of in the same generation, I guess you would say. But I pretty much, I guess it was just getting coverage. I was getting a lot more coverage back then.
Right.
Maybe, like I was, like me and Roadhouse, we're pretty much skating a lot together when I first got sponsored. Like, was it 95, 96? And started traveling a lot with him, and we were touring, and but that's a whole black spot in the middle that I didn't really mention, I guess. times like, that's a long time ago. I don't even know. 92 is a long time ago. Shit.
Yeah. 'Cause you had clips in Hoax too, and a lot of people that you named, like at that time, the world hadn't really heard of them.
Yeah, well, Dayton was in that film. Pat Lennon was in that film.
Who was?
Pat Lennon.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he's doing big spins back then also.
Yeah, big stair 540s.
Yeah, he was in. There's a section there where we were at Stanford, and if you look there's a lot of people that I think Shima might have been there, but I don't think he was in the film.
No.
That's where I first met Shima, was in Stanford.
Crazy.
Yeah, that was like, I can't know what year that was, but all Bay Area, everyone, all the Bay Area guys, like it all started. That era there's a lot of guys still around, Garcia, but there's also a lot of people that aren't around anymore. So,
right.
So I guess after the Hoax is when I got sponsored. That was like my first, like
the first time people really saw you in a video.
On a bigger scale for sure. But I was in VG2. I think that was my first video that I was ever in.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people, maybe a lot of younger kids haven't seen that film. It was kind of like a Battle My Crew in a way. You just pretty much submitted your your film. And then Dave and Sean Tallman and Morgan Stone, a video group, they just kind of picked the best all the contributions they got.
Right.
Plus stuff that they would film, of course, and put it into this kind of like mixtape type thing. And Danny LaRoche is in that film too. I don't know if you've seen VG2. Danny LaRoche from Montreal.
I've never met him. I know of him.
Oh, you never met him?
No.
It's East Coast, I guess, right?
Yeah.
So he used to run Destructor and the Montreal Classic, and that was funny because we were just talking about that. I just saw him in Asia, and it's just crazy how long we've known some people in blading. I've known him for so long, so it's like it's a trip.
What's he up to now?
He works for Oakley.
Okay.
He does a lot of I don't really know his position, but he's got a really strong position there in sales, and I know he does a lot of the window designs for all the stores. Yeah. Certain regions, and he's pretty high up there, so he's doing pretty good. I'm happy for him.
Nice.
We've been through a lot together, and seeing where he's gone through in life and stuff. So he's got a beautiful daughter. I met his new girlfriend, or not new, but new to me. Yeah. So we got to catch up. I saw him in Asia a few months ago. So. Yeah. Was he involved with the Destructor in San Francisco? Yeah, he was. Okay. Yeah, he was. Destructor was his. I think it was Phil. I forgot Phil's last name. There's a few partners. I'll just say that. And Danny was one of the major guys. And Ezekwe was living in the city, and I was living in the city as well, San Francisco.
Yeah.
And he was really trying to, you know, open the shop, blading oriented, and everyone kind of, you know, Zekwe was working with Opalak back then, so there was just, you know, really good energy. Tory Tree Seeder as well, so it was really good energy with everybody. And I was doing Valo, so there's like a lot of really cool energy going on as far as working together and putting something together, especially in a city like San Francisco. So,
Yeah.
But yeah, Danny was a huge part of that. But he's no longer involved in it anymore.
Right.
Yeah.
And Destructure's gone in San Francisco?
Zekwe's still doing it.
Oh, is he still doing it?
Yeah, he's still involved as far as I know, and it's mainly more of a gallery or arts, like street art, street artists. Sorry, clothing and independent local brands, from what I understand.
Not really rollerblading anymore?
Not really rollerblading, which is unfortunate, but, you know, everyone finds, you know, whatever works for in their lives. So
yeah, for sure.
You know, it's kind of a weird situation, but, you know, because it started as a blading store and it you know, evolved into something different, and
yeah, something more marketable.
I don't. Well, it all depends on what you're into, I guess. I mean, for that area, yeah, marketable for that area,
or profitable, I should say.
Yeah. You could say that's a good term, I guess. I mean, he's actually the Destructure. I don't know if you've been to it in San Francisco. It's in a really good area. It's Lower Haight Street. It's like it's pretty much the artist area as far as San Francisco goes. Well, there's like Lower Haight and Upper Haight, and Upper Haight has like all the like a lot of cool boutiques and stuff, and Lower Haight is kind of known to being the artist area, and that was what was really cool about having the shop there. It was very hip and multicultural, you know, a lot of stuff, cool stuff happening. So it would have been a great. It was a great thing. We actually had a lot of great times. We did a lot of great video premieres, and it is a beautiful space, you know. But things evolve, and people have different ideas, and sometimes, you know, things don't work out the way they should, and people go different ways, and that's kind of basically what happened. And the Zekwe is basically, you know, that's his thing now. So
yeah.
But I got nothing but respect for him, and, you know, we still keep in touch, and it's just, you know, people go different ways. That's all.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, you've got a really unique perspective because you're really involved in the rollerblading industry, obviously, and you travel a lot. Your whole life seems to revolve around rollerblading. A lot of energy and time put into rollerblading, and you have a really global perspective, more global than someone like myself or like most people into rollerblading. How is rollerblading doing? Like,
I mean, from my perspective, it's not at the best place. It hasn't been. As far as I don't want to go into numbers or anything. It just is, you know, the market's definitely shrunken in the last couple of years, to be honest. I personally feel good about this year. You know, the last 2 years have been pretty rough for me personally, you know, in my personal life with family stuff, but also in the business, you know, with Valo, and just trying to stay in business and make things work because of the market kind of, you know, shrinking, or, you know, adapting to what's, you know, working as far as sales goes and where people are buying skates and whatnot. So it's tough, you know. It's tough to be a business owner in a small market like ours, and that's just the, you know, God honest truth. And but we are an industry. There is a market, you know, and we're not going anywhere. And there are going to be ups, there are going to be downs, and I've learned that, you know, for how long I've been in this business. So
Yeah.
I feel good. I mean, I'm feeling good this year. You know, I personally, with the people that I'm around and the projects that I'm focused on, and just the energy is good, you know, and sales are okay, and we're able to keep going, and that's, you know, ultimately it's a good thing. So
Oh, yeah.
it's a great thing. So
you're able to stay alive. That's great.
Yeah, it's tough. It's a tough market, and I think people should know that. And I don't know if expectations. Sorry, that's my dog. Expectations. I don't know what people think the market of blading is like, or you know, I don't want to, you know, be totally negative, because there's a lot of really amazing stuff happening. You know, a lot of cool things, and a lot of great people, a lot of great projects, and again, I don't want to be totally negative, like, you know, it's by saying sales, you know, aren't great, but things are moving, things are shaking, and we all just have to continue to keep moving, and the people that are involved in the businesses and the media, like, you know, there's a lot of cool things happening.
Yeah.
For example, the Blading Cup right now, for me, like, personally, I'm like in Blading Cup mode right now. We just came off a fundraiser yesterday, and it was a very amazing day. Like, I never threw a fundraiser before, so it was like kind of scary in a way, maybe, and not really sure what was going to happen. But I mean, the concept of fundraiser makes sense. You know, you want to raise money, you want to receive, you know, try to get achieve a goal to pay for something, and in this case, it's bleachers for their contest. So basically, the whole thing with this was, like, I really wanted to do. I've been working with the Lux Armor guys a lot.
Yeah.
They're based out of Long Beach. They're, you know, all rollerbladers. They have a nice space in Long Beach. They have, it's like a duplex warehouse, but they have an outside area where they have a lot of space, basically. Lux Armor is going to be, from my understanding, a clothing and pad company. But anyway, all great guys. Tim Franken, Carlos. It's all good friends, all good, you know, all bladers, and we're all on the same page as far as trying to get Blading Cup to where it can get. I was trying to get Blading Cup to a point where we're not losing tons of money. We're, you know, creating the best event possible. Just able to have. There's a lot of stuff going on with this event this year. We're going to be blocking off a street. I'm working a lot closer with the city. They're supporting the event a lot more this year as far as financially. Enough to, you know, well, there's a lot of details like that I haven't really addressed, but as far as, like, how it all works. But the city's supporting it, and we just got to get to a point where we can kind of display blading, you know, to where we want it to, you know, and that can only happen with teamwork and everyone's involvement, and, you know, from the building of the ramps to how everything is, you know, laid out, to signage, to getting all the skaters there and representing. We're put in a very good situation here to be able to put a street course in the city. First of all, it's not a common thing in my history to be able to throw down ramps on the street and be like, yeah, this is cool, you know. Can we do this here? Yeah, you can. Like, okay, cool. You know, like, I've never been in a situation where I've been able to, you know, have an event on the street in the public where the city approves it and police are actually watching, you know, protecting, or, you know, making sure everything's okay, and where, you know, on the flip side of things, when your streets are just kicking you out. So, but we're put in a very good situation here. We got, we're teaming up with this existing event called the Beat Swap Meet, It's a record vinyl show, and they're based out of LA. They do events nationwide now, but they've been doing their event in LA in Chinatown. I think they do it 3 times a year, and they bring thousands of people downtown LA. Just from record collectors, DJs, live music, b-boy contests. What else do they do? They obviously food and clothing, kind of streetwear stuff. Anyway, the demographic is where we should be. We should be showing blading to this scene and or these this general age. As far as who's going to those events and what kind of people are going to those events should see blading. Should b-boys and that whole kind of similar. There's a lot of similarities, as far as skating and that goes. So I got to meet him. His name is Robbie, through Mako Bedoza, who represents Shadow and Power Slide, and Chuck Cotton. He's also a rollblader from out here from Carson, and they know him very well. And they introduced me to him, and it's kind of evolved into this thing where he's been trying to come to Orange County, where I am, and he's based out of LA, so it's about 45 minutes away. He's been trying to find a venue, and this area in Santa Ana where I'm at right now is it's developing into a really cool place for art, for good food. A lot of bars are opening up now, and especially on 4th Street, which is where we're going to be at, the street course. This is where he actually knew about this place anyway, so he was trying to find out who was running stuff, and Ryan is the property owner, which is who I work with, and we all got together and we came up to this kind of agreement to all right, you got your event, we got our event, let's kind of put them together
for sure,
and let's get all these people together. So
you're just combining two demographics.
Yeah, exactly. So we're gonna have a b-boy contest, we're gonna have live music. He's bringing a lot of vendors. He hasn't confirmed how many, but he's definitely going to bring a lot of people here. And the Blading Cup, we bring a lot of people as well, from internationally. People will be coming from all over. I already got people coming from Japan and Europe, and just every day someone's hitting me up about coming out, so it's good.
Yeah. I think Taylor Ritchie was saying and Leon they're going to Blading Cup. Leon Basson and Taylor.
Great. Yeah, are they coming?
Yeah, that's what they said.
They're trying to?
Yeah.
They're trying to get a hold of Leon as well, so that's cool that they're looking into it.
Yeah. It's really it's kind of something that isn't done as much anymore, like you were saying, having a street course built like on the street. And it totally would attract more of a crowd than just having it at a skate park. Because people are skating at the skate park, big deal. But when there's a big, like a street course is a big display, and there's all these people like in this random place doing this thing, it's more like, oh, let's go check that out, like what's going on over there, Definitely, and that was also for the bleachers was a big deal, and raising money last year was tough. Last 2 years was tough, and just as going back to the industry and how things are moving, and it's tough to get people to sponsor, the companies to sponsor and to invest into something like an event like this, where it does cost a lot of money. So we didn't have bleachers last year. We had bleachers the year before when we put it on TV. But like again, it's just the money and being able to pay for stuff, and it's hard to get corporate sponsorship, and I wish it was easier, but But thanks to the property owners here and the interest in wanting to happen every year here, it's thank God people are trying to invest here, and for sure.
I just hope it eventually leads to those bigger companies to take notice, and like how it did back in the day with NIST and ASA, where a lot of the events were on the beach and televised and all this kind of stuff. So it's a good start. I mean, it's selected companies maybe, but I don't know. These days you can't be picky.
Why not? Yeah, take what you can get.
Yeah, but I mean, right now going back to the Blading Cup, the biggest advantage this time is time. Like I started working on it right after the event last year. To be honest, like last year I wasn't gonna do it. I wasn't really motivated to do it. The event last year, which would have been a real big bummer. We really would have regretted not doing it.
So this will be your third year doing it?
This will be the fourth year.
Fourth year.
Yeah.
Okay.
Wait. Yeah, this will be the fourth year.
Wow. And you've put this on every year, or kind of spearheaded everything.
Yeah. It's the fourth year now. I think every year it's been a struggle. Every year has been trying to figure out how to pay for everything and learning also and how to do these kind of events, because it costs a lot of money. You have to pay the city, you have to pay for the meters, you have to pay for the police department, you have to pay for the fire department, you have to pay for the ramps, you got to pay for the ramps to be built, you got to pay for barriers, tables, tents, everything.
That is a lot.
Yeah.
So who's paying for all this shit?
I mean, we do get sponsors. People do help. Like, don't get me wrong. Like we've gotten good. It's just not the amount of money.
Yeah. Is
not there. It's.
But like sponsors like within Rollblading.
A little, yeah, and local as well.
And outside of Rollblading.
Yeah, but it's. These kind of events are, to be honest, they cost like 10 to 15 to 20 grand basically is what the TV year cost.
Jesus.
When we had it on TV, and that's like a very slimmed down budget. Like it should cost more.
What we got to do? We got to get all the young up and coming rollerbladers, not to get married, not to have a wedding, and instead of, because usually people will drop like 20 grand on a wedding. Fuck weddings, nobody get married, and have blade contests instead. It'll be a lot more fun.
That is a lot of money.
And then you can just tell your wife, like, we can just go to the Justice of the Peace. Yeah. Like tomorrow.
It might be hard to organize that. Maybe you could spearhead that. How about that?
Yeah, I'll get on it.
Yeah, maybe we can start in Canada, and then we can work our way down to California.
Yeah.
But if it's not cheap, and but the opportunity is there, and it's like it's tough. It's for me personally, it's trying to figure out how to make it work. And this year it looked a lot better as far as everyone, so many contributors, like from Miguel, the Lux guys, and the city, and my wife, and just everybody around is very supportive. It's cool, and it's because everybody understands. This weekend, going back to yesterday, we had a fundraiser and we raised almost $1,400. It's
nice.
It's pretty. I was shocked.
So what kind of fundraiser was this?
We just set up a bunch of ramps at the Lux Armor. They have a warehouse, like I said.
Yeah.
And it was just to raise money for our bleachers, and the bleachers that I did get like 2 years ago. It was like $2,000, which is pretty expensive. And that's our goal, and we hit basically $1,400 yesterday. So we're pretty much almost there as far as If anything, I'll just go try to I'll look up online and try to find something reasonable around that price range or whatever we do raise, and whatever else we do get on top of as far as donations goes is going to go straight to the prize money. So it's all going straight to the event, and it's all inspired actually by the Windy City Riot, because they were doing their fundraisers before. I think they did just seeing it online and Instagram, they were doing like 3 or 4. I think they did 3 or 4, and they were able to, people contributing every event, and it adds up. So
totally. It's a good way to do it, for sure.
It was great because like a lot of Be Love, Be Harden showed up, Arlo showed up, and Rashard, from all the way down to like the little aggressive kids from we have this little crew from Carson, and they were all there. So it was just really cool seeing everybody show up. You know,
Yeah.
it was just like, wow, like a lot of people we haven't seen in a while, and Aldrin Miller from San Diego, and I can't remember. There's a lot of people, so it was cool, and everyone was down to help from putting the ramps up to taking them down. So we gotta do more of those
For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Why not? Like, people love to get together.
Yeah.
A good excuse to see everybody, have a fundraiser.
Yeah, we don't have enough of those. And even if it was just to get together, I think they have a really good thing going over there at Lux. It's really cool.
Yeah.
It's a good space.
Were you like selling drinks or just like
No.
taking donations?
Oh no, we got a keg, you know, and we had a rollerblader also. His girlfriend owns kind of a how do you call it, like a catering company, Mexican food, and
Yeah.
you know, she gave us a good deal on a bunch of, you know, carne asada and chicken and tortillas and salsa, and we
Nice.
just had them all out. And then it was up, you know, no one had to donate, no one was forced to.
Yeah.
And some of the guys were pressuring people to donate, they weren't. But, you know, it was like,
course.
it was just, you know, come in the session, and if you want to donate, you could. And it was just a good vibe, and pretty much everyone pretty much donated. So,
Yeah.
you know, it was, if you had $1, you had $1. If you had 10, you had 10. But most, you know, it's crazy because people give me 20s, you know. They're
Yeah.
giving us 20s, and there was like, here, you want some change? And everyone was like, no, keep it, you know, like, it was awesome.
Very
So
cool.
it's really cool that the community came together to understand. You know, everyone understands basically.
Yeah.
Going back to what I was trying to say earlier. But yeah, I feel really good about the event, and it's going to be great on November 1st. And it's also we have an art walk here, like every metropolitan area is pretty popular. Like in Long Beach, they have an art walk, and Anaheim they have an art walk. But here, it's every first Saturday of the month. And the Blading Cup falls on that, and it's also Day of the Dead celebration here. And there's a big Spanish population here, so that's a huge deal here. And that's also on the same day. So there's gonna be a lot going on that day. Basically, I guess that's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, that's perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect time to do something is when there's lots of things going on and lots of people are in town checking it out. And
Yeah.
so this is all in Santa Ana.
Santa Ana, California. It's like the closest airport is John Wayne. It's like 10 minutes away. From LA,
Yeah.
we're like 45 minutes away.
And you live here in Santa Ana?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Actually, Roadhouse lives 2 doors down. He's got a loft. And then over here, Jess Dearnforth, he has a place. And then
Nice.
DK's place is actually on top. Brian Kanowski's place is actually right on top of Roadhouse.
Crazy.
Arlo used to live here, but he had to go to Costa Mesa, which is like 10 minutes away because his daughter,
Yeah.
she's going to school over there. But yeah, this is like the rollerblading retirement home.
That's amazing, man.
Yeah, it's cool.
Sounds cool.
Yeah, it's funny, I guess.
I might move there. It sounds great.
Cool little community. Yeah, everyone knows each other.
Nice. So, how often are you skating these days? Is that still like a big part about what you do?
It's part of my workout regimen,
Yeah.
just to stay in shape. Usually, like, I skate 3 times a week. In the morning by myself, if I, you know, sometimes. But we do a Wednesday morning. We do a Wednesday morning. We kind of switch it up, and a bunch of people get together, skate for like an hour or 2, sometimes more. Like Alex Miranda, Chuck Houghton, a bunch of the Carson kids, whoever else is down. You know, we usually have pretty big sessions on Wednesday mornings, and then there's Mondays and Fridays, and Farmer just moved pretty close.
Nice.
So we've all been kind of traveling a bit, so we haven't really we get one on a couple of sessions at the, you know, as far as like parks goes. But I skate a lot.
Nice.
I skate more than I actually have in a long time, which is really strange.
That's awesome.
But,
And your body's feeling pretty good?
sometimes I walk crooked, but
Really?
sometimes it feels good, you know. But
Sorry, to walk crooked? What did you say?
yeah. Well, when you're in pain, you're sore,
Yeah.
you walk crooked.
Like with a dead
I walk
leg?
crooked, at least. Well, I hold my back maybe to the left or right. I'm gonna be 38 in March, so.
Holy shit! I didn't know you were 38.
Yeah.
Actually, yeah, I kind of thought you were like 33, 34.
I wish I was.
Yeah. 38. That's awesome.
Yeah, I'm pretty old, man.
You're a man.
Old man. old man.
That's really cool. And
but I get carded a lot, so that keeps me like feeling good.
Do you?
That's like, yeah. And when my wife sees it, I'm with my wife, and like I'm at a restaurant, and the lady's like, "You want a beer, huh? How old are you?" And she cards me out. It makes me feel good, you know.
Yeah.
Because my wife
still got it, kid.
Yeah. Sometimes it's funny, yeah, because like it's like some obscene number. Like, really, you think I'm that young? It's like, yeah. But anyway,
that's amazing.
I think rollerblading keeps you young, you know.
Oh, for sure.
It's the people you're surrounded by and skating. And, I don't know. Firm believer in that.
Oh yeah, it's like just makes you feel like a kid going out with your friends and doing tricks on rollerblades.
Yeah, you don't really see anybody's age when you're out there, you know. When you're out. No. Obviously not street skating, but when you're at the skate parks, it's like I don't see anyone younger or older than me. Sometimes I mean, it's just we're all just, you know, you're at a skate park and you're just skating.
Yeah.
But
it's amazing. So, what excites you in skating? Like, how do you define what good skating is, or like what a good trick or a good skater is?
What have I been watching? I just kind of like I watch as many of this as I can. You know, I just I just watched a really cool. I was hanging out with Mike McMullen the other day. He was actually the reason why we're doing this. He's like, dude, you should go get on the Mushroom podcast. You should get on there and see what's up. And because I was watching a Seba. It was a Seba edit. It was was it Danny Beer?
Yep, Danny Beer
and the other guy. Brian? Yeah, this section is really sick.
Really good.
Really good skating.
Yeah,
you know, different. I thought that was really good. And then there's I gotta be biased and see, you know, the stuff that we've been putting out lately with like the Strange edit, and I really like what else have I seen lately? I think on the Valo side of things, is that's what I obviously work on the most. Like one of my favorite skaters is Sean Darst right now. I don't know if you know Sean Darst. He's like him and Nick Labar. I got to Carson Starnes. I like Carson skating a lot. All the Atlanta boy, you know, Chris over there, Chris Smith and Sizemore. He was just here. And
but like, if you had to describe what it is that makes for a good trick or a good edit.
Yeah. I'm personally like I just like control, and when you see, you can tell, you know, it doesn't have to be, you know, like I was watching I was talking about I just saw the Kelsos that they put out, and maybe because I haven't seen Sean Santamaria skate in a while, but I just liked how, you know, it was so simple, you know, but it was so sick. It was just really, it was just, I don't know. There's something like really cool about how he's going about his tricks, you know, and it's all personal preference, really, you know. I don't know. What was the question again? Like what part?
Like, because everyone...
Because like I watch certain things about everything in skating that I really like, you know?
Yeah. Just like... it's a tough question, for sure. It's not a simple question, but if you could describe, like... If you had to define... like certain qualities of skating that really turns you on, like it's a tough question, like because it could be so many different things, you know. And it's not like you're looking for one thing. It's just like, oh,
I think ultimate Nemo. I love Nemo skating. He's another one, you know. Like control, like when you can tell, like when Broskow skates, it's like, oh, this guy knows what he's doing, you know. Like you just it doesn't. I mean, no, I mean that sounds kind of funny, but it's just you can see that, you know. I don't know, like I don't even know how to describe it, but you can see what like this guy maybe can see the future maybe, and he's like gonna go to point A to point B, and he's got a plan, and he's gonna land it, you know. I don't know if that makes any sense, but you just when you watch people skate, it's just control, and it's just I admire that. I admire how you can do things however you want, whenever you want. Like I just like half I just half skated yesterday, and I hadn't seen skate like, you know, a park in a while, or you know, just like small obstacles at the fundraiser, and it was just it's mind blowing how much control he has, you know. And I think that ultimately that might be my favorite thing. And I like original. I like when people get creative also, but I guess ultimately it's just control.
Control is a big thing. Yeah. Like you can be at a park and the guy can do the craziest, you know, gnarly trick, but if it doesn't look like he's under control, it's kind of wacky maybe. Yeah. But precision, like knowing what you're gonna do and being able to execute it, like exactly.
Because I can't do it. Maybe because I don't have that. I just was like, you know, it's admirable. It's like, wow, man, that's like when Sizemore skates, I'm just like, dude, you can do everything. I've never seen you do that one before. You know, it's like, it's mind blowing. And like Suichiro is another one for me. Like,
yeah, he has a lot of control.
He can do anything. You know, like how can you just do anything? Like, I can't do anything. I'm sorry, everything. So when people are like, in Farm is another one. You know, like. He's a big dude, you know, he's tall. He's like, and he gets down with like the most technical stuff on big obstacles, you know. It just blows my mind. Like when he was out skating with him the other day, and he did this 0 negative top acid on this crazy rail. It's like a lot of bad things against the wall, you know. A lot of bad things can happen, you know. And I don't know, but he's got the control, you know. I guess it just goes back to that. It's just
you can control. Just do it. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Have you heard of Dustin Jamison?
Sounds familiar.
He's from just outside of Portland. He broke his leg like a couple years ago. Oh. But he's really good. He's recovered. I was at popularity contest on Saturday, and he won, and he had intense control. Just like crazy, and he was a tall kid, and like he would just do things and make it look like.
Does he ride M12 V13s?
Yeah, he's on Valos.
He just put out an edit.
Did he?
That was a question.
I'm not sure.
I just saw because I saw this. I was on Facebook and David posted this edit. Is that him?
Maybe.
He kind of. I don't know.
He's tall,
but he's taller.
Tall, skinny.
Yeah. I think this is the same dude. Yeah. Pretty sure. Yeah, he's sick.
Be. Yeah, I was really impressed watching him skate in person. It was very consistent and just could do hard things and make it look very effortless and easy. Pretty amazing. But yeah, he won the contest.
Oh, really? Sick.
Yeah.
Well, another thing too. I mean, maybe it's not just that aspect, but you know, Arlo. There's certain people's style just, you know, it's timeless, and no matter what they do, you just want to watch them skate. Yeah. You know,
whenever signature kind of style.
Yeah. Like I mean, this is kind of far away from now, but when I was in Australia and I saw Dion Anthony skate, or was with him hanging out, and we went skating, but he has this thing, you know, like this amazing style that is timeless, and you just can't. Whatever he does, man, it's gonna be sick, and you just, you know.
Yeah, it's called fucking sexy.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah,
that works too.
Yeah.
Who else has that? Like, there's a lot of people that have had that. And TJ Weber. way ahead of his time too. TJ was, but
Yeah.
Dion.
Very signature styles.
Mm-hmm.
You could see just a silhouette of them and know exactly who they are. Just by
exactly
the way they move their body. It's crazy how signature a person's rollerblading can get. How it can become like irreplicable.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like I don't want to blow steam up your ass, but I've spent like hours and hours watching your skating. From like Volume. I must have watched Volume like well over 100 times.
Oh man, really? That was a long part. That was like, you sure? That's like a long part. That's like 7 minutes long.
I bet I've watched the whole video. Because like Volume was in the era before the internet, man, and it was like we had 10 videos on the playlist.
Rotation?
Yeah, on rotation. Yeah. And usually like 8 of them were whack. So it was like Volume and.
So you liked Volume? Yeah,
I loved Volume.
Cool. That was a lot of work. There's a lot of stories behind that video.
Yeah.
Not a lot, but that was a hard one to do. Because I pretty much, what's the word? I didn't edit the whole thing, but I was basically in charge of that whole project. And
okay.
At that time, it was tough because there's a lot of people to impress and want them to like the video. Like there's high standards basically, and from Brooke to Jess to Ethan, and Pat Parnell was involved. So basically Brooke Howard Smith, Jess Dearnforth, Ethan Jenkins, Pat Parnell, obviously Dustin, Josh, and me. It was a stressful project. It took a lot, and Brian Smith was involved as well.
Yeah,
he helped. We used his
had
system.
some tricks.
Did Brian Smith have tricks?
Yeah,
in that video, he did, huh?
Yeah,
he had to have.
Didn't he did like sweat stance to Royale with like a cut off T-shirt in an event. It was where Matt Lindo did the crazy like transfer gap thing. Was it Matt Lindemuth? I don't know. Some like European park skater dude did some insane. Yeah, that video is amazing, man. That's one of my like. That's
I gotta watch it again.
Yeah, it's so sick.
Yeah, but when we finished it, no one was happy with it. Everyone hated it. Well, not everyone, but I gave the video to Brooke, and him and Pat. I think it was just them two, pretty sure, because I think Jess liked it, and Ethan was like, I think he liked it too, but Brooke and Pat just annihilated it. They were like, man, this is terrible, basically.
What?
And I was, it wasn't the finished version yet. It was just, it was up to Dustin's first section, especially almost done, and then Dustin's first part, the song changes. I don't know if you remember that.
Yep.
Into kind of like a more DJ Shadow part section, song. I think it probably was. And I just gave up after that. I hate to say that, but I kind of just said, you know what? You guys don't like the fucking video? I'm just going to finish it, and that's it. And I was just pissed because me and Brian and TJ was helping too. We're all just like kind of fed up with it and just finish it. And then
wow,
it was kind of like not
so
a finished
interesting
project.
To hear. Yeah,
it wasn't like.
So you kind of just like threw the rest together because you were frustrated.
I don't want to say it that way, but kind of, because I just didn't have the same drive. But
yeah, that's really discouraging when you work really hard on something and then people. Yeah.
Well, I mean,
shit on
it's understandable, like everyone has their opinions, but back then I took it to heart.
Yeah, for sure.
Because I respect those guys so much. There's like I really didn't want to let them down, and then it was just deadlines. You obviously have deadlines, and you try to finish something. And I was going to Brian Smith's house like a lot, and he lives in Venice Beach at the time, and I lived in Laguna Beach with Jess. And I was just, going back and forth, and I don't know. It was just a lot. It was a headache. I can even remember it to now that it wasn't all fun. But
shit.
Yeah, and then looking back now, those were great times for sure. But
Yeah.
just that particular project.
So, since making it, have you heard other people's reviews on it? Like, what they...
Oh, yeah.
Because to me,
Everyone
that's like
seems
a
to like it a
classic
lot.
video, yeah.
Yeah, everyone likes it. Yeah,
It's really good.
how many years it's been out, but so for the most part, at least, from people say.
Like the skating, the editing, like the music, the skating is very classic.
Try to get, back then was kind of, in this whole weird hip hop, like, trying to find the most obscure sounding songs, and that's what I guess the soundtrack was. But
Love it.
there was a lot of
The intro, the intro was really moody, like with the rainy kind of shots in England and
yeah. I think what it was just everyone's like kind of input, and it was just jumbled into this thing, and then it wasn't what Brooke and Pat really wanted, maybe, and then I don't know. Anyway, it doesn't matter at this point.
Yeah. It's interesting though.
It's just funny talking about it right now. Anyway, in general, such a long time ago, I'm like talking like it was like yesterday.
Yeah. It's crazy how you can remember those things. Like,
yeah, I guess having this kind of this conversation is good for that, maybe.
Oh, for sure.
A long time ago.
Yeah. I watched Coup Da Tat. How do you say that? Is it Coup Da Tat? How do you... Coup Da Tat?
Coup Da Tat. Coup Da Tat?
If I try to pronounce it properly, I feel like an asshole. It's like I feel like I should say Coup Da Tat. It's like if you say sans serif. no one says sans serif. They say sans serif.
Yeah, we say sans serif.
But like French, like a French person would pronounce it sans, like sans.
Yeah. Right.
But
that sounds funny too.
If I say sans serif, like I'm trying to be like really smart.
Oh.
I feel the same way when I say Coup Da Tat. I love the video Coup Da Tat.
It's stuck though.
Yeah.
It worked somehow.
Yeah.
Right? Also a long time ago.
Great.
But yeah, that's also a video that people keep, bringing back.
Always mention, yeah.
Always mention, yeah.
Yeah. But it's kind of creepy.
It's hard not to. Everyone's names on there, like from Shima to Dustin and Josh. So
yeah, a lot of big names. That was like in the glory days of USD. You guys were ballers.
We ballers.
Ballers, like with a Z. Ballers.
Yeah. Okay.
I mean, like from my perspective, as like how old would I have been? Maybe, I don't know, 19 or 20 ish.
Yeah. How old are you?
I'm 31.
Okay.
Yeah. So from my perspective, when that video came out, it was really like you guys were up on a pedestal big time, and
crazy. Yeah.
Like the skating in that video was just like, man, I seriously I watched that video like 500 times. Like, it's ridiculous how much time in my life I've spent staring at you. It's creepy.
It's kind of strange.
A lot of fucking time. But I've never talked to you, so it's like I know you in kind of a weird way, because I know how you express yourself on rollerblades. And I've heard your voice here and there, but like...
Yeah. So does it feel like you know me still, as we were talking? Or is it like weird? All right, no, there you go.
Totally. Yeah. We met in Amsterdam.
I guess I kind of had that... Oh, sorry, go ahead.
We met in Amsterdam at Anam YTA.
Really?
As well, like... what was it, 2005-ish?
2005. Was that the one where everyone was destroying their hands on that one down rail?
Probably.
Yo-Yo jumped over the bridge and hit his head?
The last spot was that someone tried to do that massive like leap of faith size.
Oh, that's
gap.
A different one. Yeah, that's like a year later.
Yeah.
That was Albert Hui. Albert Hui won that one, right? The King Trail?
I can't even remember who won that.
Was there a king trail in the middle?
Yeah.
Yeah. Albert Hui won that one.
Yeah. And Ollie Short was there, and Charles Dunkel.
Yeah. Right. And who else was in there? Did someone try to jump over that wall?
Yeah.
I don't think so.
Yeah.
Really?
It's in Better Than Baseball, one of our videos.
Oh shit.
That was one of the things we filmed there.
Right. It's frightening.
Yeah.
It's just, you know what I was thinking about? It freaks me out knowing how much crazy shit happened in those contests. Like, the scariest shit that went down. People destroying themselves. Like,
there was like a 4 or 5 year span of street contests where the bar was just through the roof. The amplitude was just insanity. Yeah. Like when you put on, because you did all the IMYTAs as well.
Yeah.
The energy level at those events were just ridiculous.
Yeah. It was. That's what that energy level kept it going pretty much, because on a more business side of things, it was definitely not the smartest thing to do as far as, you know, going rogue and just going out to the street spot and get, you know, 500 people there. And, oh, this is going to be okay, you know? Yeah. Like, we could do this here in downtown San Francisco, and no one's going to kick us out. Like, and that's how it was, like, the first couple of years, you know?
Yeah.
We didn't have insurance. Maybe the first year, but the second year we were definitely more organized. But the energy of the first year definitely carried it for its whole, you know, the whole tenure. Like, for as long as it existed. It just got too crazy with, you know, people. We actually did an event in LA in the last years of it, and at the college, and we had permits and whatnot. But people were pissing in the bushes and destroying the flowers and just, you know, jumping on top of shit and just being normal. If you were going to walk around anywhere, you wouldn't piss, I guess, but you would just walk anywhere. But people just were walking on expensive flowers, you know? Yeah. So it was like, after the whole thing, I think we got a letter, or Mike Wilson, he was working for Solomon at that time. He was the team manager, and me and him were working very closely on every event. And, you know, we got a letter in the mail, or he did, thank God. I mean, I would have freaked out if I saw it. But it was like, UCLA is suing you for X amount of dollars. And it was a lot. I can't remember what it was now. It's in the thousands. And we got out of it somehow, where we had to only pay a little bit. I don't know how it worked out, but Mike did his magic. But after that, it was like, you know what? Maybe we probably shouldn't be doing this anymore. You know? And we've had a few other things. You know, people have hurt themselves. Ambulances coming out, you know, and picking up people, and at schools where we don't really have permission to, you know, obviously. So it was really sketchy sometimes, and it boggles my mind knowing that we did it for so long, and the craziest stuff went down, and nothing really serious happened. I mean, some bad stuff happened. Okay, people got hurt, but, like, you know, like, no one got sued from another person. No one got really hurt, I guess, you know, fatally. Yeah. So it's definitely. It definitely should have ended when it ended, I guess, for sure. Yeah. For me, at least. So, I mean, street contests still go on, and that's great. And I'm not trying to knock them. I mean, just from my experience, maybe it sounds like I am, but
in terms of not, like, taking on the responsibility of it and running it.
Because when you have
it's dangerous.
You're promoting it, and you have to make sure you have an event, and, you know, you have to make sure everyone's, you know, having it stoked, and there's a beginning and there's an end. You know, you're gonna have a winner. You know, you have to have a winner in the end, and it's a responsibility for the industry too, because you're creating this thing that people are supporting. But if you don't, you know, if you can't pull through and create the event the way it should be, then why do it? And that's kind of what happened to that, you know. And people, because they ask for it still. People, bring it back, you know, like bring it back, shit.
But
I understand it. I understand how amazing it was. I understand definitely, dude. I was in the middle of it all and saw how much excitement there was,
Yeah.
And it was great. But anyway,
it is pretty amazing that none of them were really flops. Like, it always worked out, and because none of the spots were licensed, because it was totally just gangster going out on the street and doing it.
I mean, I don't know if you probably. I mean, the France one was the first France one was crazy.
Yeah.
The one, the Shima one, that was crazy. There were so many people there, and
just out on the street
for all day. Like, we were there all day.
Yeah.
It's just that whole wave of people. It's just like no one's coming over to stop us. It's just it was crazy.
Yeah.
In Europe, you felt a little more safer. I did, at least, because they were a lot more lenient. Maybe like you didn't see a cop in every corner, like looking for you to break something, or I just felt a little safer there. Maybe because I'm not European or French or from Holland or something, but I think that's what we did. Also, we kind of veered the events to more going to Europe instead of in the States, as the years progressed, because we did a lot in America. We did Detroit a couple times. We did LA. We did, where else? Did we do Chicago? I don't remember. New York a couple times. Montreal.
Yeah.
I like Montreal was good because I feel like I wasn't in America. I don't know. Yeah. No one was gonna drag me down or bring me to jail. Oh, in San Jose we did the finals, and the cops pulled me to the side, and I was scared. I remember being scared at that one because there's a lot of people, and I can't remember right now what happened, but I got out of it. But somehow, I think we just moved. Well, I think what we did was we moved to a different school, and I just said, "Hey, we're all leaving." Like all 300 of us.
Yeah.
We're going somewhere else. But anyway.
Man. Yeah, that's quite a wealth of experiences.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was definitely crazy times.
In rollerblading, it seems like people who ride for Valo stick around. Like, they don't really jump ship as much as you see in other companies.
Okay.
Why do you think that is?
Maybe because it's me and I'm pretty honest with everything.
Yeah.
I don't know. They're all everyone's really good friends. That's probably the biggest thing. But the program is honest, I guess that's what I'm trying to say. Like, I don't really pressure anybody to do anything they don't want to do. Maybe. I don't have like a specific guideline, to you need to put an edit out
quota.
There's not. Don't get me wrong, it'd be ultimately great to have everyone, participate to the best of their ability. I think everybody knows that. But it's rollerblading, it's like, it's just, it is what it is, and if you want to be active, you be active. If you don't, you don't. And I don't, I'd always look at it as like when I was sponsored, I'd like to do things, and I hated to be told what to do. Like, no one wants to be told what to do by anybody.
And it affects your performance, right? If you're doing something that you're not that as into, if you're just forcing it, you're not gonna skate as good. You're not gonna be as into it.
But it's all relative. Also, it depends on the situation. It's like, if you're gonna go to Europe and you're going there for a contest, you're gonna skate the contest.
Yeah.
Like, that's why you're being flown there. And I never had a bad situation like that with Valo. When I was at other companies, yeah, those kind of things, and it blows my mind knowing those things happen. Thinking about now running my own thing, like, holy shit, like guys used to show up to ASA in like, Germany and be like not skating.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm hurt, or like, you're not hurt, bro. You're skateboarding right now. How can you be hurt? But it's all there's like a lot of things that it involve everyone's and with the company, and ultimately you just like to hang out with each other and have the same ideas and try to create things that make sense instead of like come up like force like something that doesn't, if that makes sense. Like,
right.
Create a project that you want to do and would be fun.
Yeah.
But don't like not force something that's just gonna look forced and feel forced.
Totally.
That makes sense.
Oh,
so,
yeah.
I try to just go with the flow with everything, and I think everyone does that too, and I guess that question would go for, that kind of question you probably should ask like people like Alex or Eric.
Ask them, maybe. Yeah. It's very commendable.
I just have an idea.
Yeah, it's very awesome that the core guys that were there from the beginning are still there. They have, like, Broskow, Bailey, Soichiro has been there pretty much since the beginning. It's refreshing to see like a long-term team.
Yeah, I do the best I can. Yeah, that's just all I can do. I do the best I can to facilitate the brand's needs from A to Z, from creating something or designing something to sampling it to manufacturing it to packaging it to selling it to a place to buy it and then ship it out to the dude so they can sell it. So like whatever it takes to make that happen, and then whatever it takes for the team to be a team, at the minimalist, I try to do the best that I can because there's only so much money in our industry, So, and everyone knows that, and everyone knows we're gonna do the best that we can with whatever we got and whatever's being sold, and that's just pretty much it. That's how the company's run. And if people didn't like it, they don't like it, then they probably would leave. So
yeah.
And if they were leaving, and if people were leaving, then I would be like, hey, maybe I'm doing something wrong, or maybe like my ideas aren't that good, or something is, disarray, and I try to fix it. So, it's every day is a different challenge too. Like, there's always something new, and there's always a fire to, there's always small fires. But then you have days like yesterday where it was just awesome. It's just, that's what it's all about. It's just having those people there skating together and just knowing that this shit's still here, and people care about it and people want to do it, and that's the most important thing to me, and everything else is just, just try to get to that point. Just try to get people motivated, inspired. We've got a lot of people at Blade now that are running their own businesses and are involved. They're either contributing money or they're using their business to like help whatever we need to do. Like, for example, Mecha Design is run by Alejo. He's a blader. He's from Colombia, but he lives here now. And it's a design studio. He does like signage. He does stickers. He does shirts now. He does everything, and he's a blader. And we use him for we work together and we create what we think the blading company needs, for example, or even for Valo. He helps a lot with all the stuff for that. And what else? There's from the film side of things, there's people are like, everyone is contributing and helping in one way or another. I'm trying to think what else. The food, like John Pez, he's a blader. The food is run by that. So there's, from the catering standpoint, artists like Tyler Martz. He's designing the Blading Cup logo right now. And he's an amazing artist. He's like blowing up right now. I don't know if you follow his stuff, but he's an amazing artist. And he's
What's his name?
Tyler Martz.
Tyler Marks.
Kyler. Kyler Martz.
Kyler.
Yeah.
Kyler Marks.
You should look him up.
I will.
He's doing a really amazing stuff, and he's getting pretty. He's got a big following, so I'm excited for him. I've known him for a long time too. He's like Bailey's best friend from Boise.
Nice. And
he actually lives closer to you. He lives in Seattle, but he's amazingly talented at what he does.
Cool.
I don't know. There's just kind of lost my train of thought actually.
Well, yeah, it's just exciting that there's a lot of rollerbladers that are talented in different areas that are down to kind of collaborate. That's powerful.
Definitely.
It really it is powerful.
Definitely.
Yeah.
And it helps all across the board for sure.
Yeah.
So.
You're obviously optimistic about the future, and do you have a goal with what you do? Do you have any kind of place in the future where you would like to be when you dream about an ideal kind of situation, or
I'd like to see it where the market's got more money. Definitely. I think that we're all shooting for that. We're all shooting for younger kids to be exposed to this, to what we do and how this whole culture, and that's my ultimate goal, is to get as many kids exposed to what we do as possible, and that's always been the goal. With the events, from the IMYTAs to TV show that cost a fortune.
Is there anything that you would like to do, but money is kind of a restriction, and you kind of think, when I have a bigger budget, I'll do this and this?
Not really. I think it needs to be where. Obviously, I would love to get more money from people to create better events, to pay more skaters, but I'd like it to happen all honestly. I like it to grow naturally, and I like the people to that's how things last longer, and that's how people stick around, is you just figure it out and you understand, this is sick, this is I can get down with this. I like this. I like how skating looks. I like how it feels. I like how that skate looks. I like where people need to just figure it out, see it. I think not enough people see it as often as they should. So but as far as financially, right now it'd be great if we had $10 more grand to pay out for the Blading Cup, so that who's gonna skate if Montre or whoever wins the contest, or Haffey, they get 10-20 grand. That would be amazing. That's the goal, is to have an industry that can support itself and have kids, skaters, live off it. And it should be that way, as many as possible. And to have a community, have all communities internationally do the same thing we're doing here. I think that would be a good goal. That would be a good goal, is to have a Blading Cup type event, where bladers in whatever metropolitan cities are teaming up with the property owners or people who have money in their specific cities and create these kind of events that expose people to blading, and whether it be on a street course, a vert ramp, or if you're doing cones down the street, just get people to see it. There's a lot, a lot of people, I've noticed a lot. I learned this from the Beat Swap meet. He just attaches his events to existing events. His event is a big event, he has a following, but if there's a big festival in Chicago where they're going to be playing music and blah, 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 or they have live music, and he he basically approaches them and he's like, yeah, this is what I do and this makes sense.
Yeah.
So it's just, I don't know. That's
a great approach.
That's something that I don't know. I mean, someone's got to do it for it to happen, but that's just an idea, you know.
Yeah.
But for me, like, just going back to getting more people on skates and the community is important, you know. Like yesterday was so cool. I think if that happened in every city, even just that, you know, and it's just like, it was awesome, you know. Like today, I was just like, it feels so good today. It was just yesterday was amazing, you know. It was a small event. A lot of people showed up. It was just, you know, that's gonna fuel a fire for people, and that's what we need to keep doing. But yeah, going back to like that, like if there was more money in the market, people buying more product, everybody would get you know, be more secure, and we'd have an environment where people can look forward to. Like if younger people, you know, younger kids can be like, yeah, I'll look forward to that, you know. Another good idea, kind of the same thing that we're talking about. I was hanging out with Miguel Ramos, and he had a really, you know, he's really advocated on bringing back the tours like the NIST ones were, how the NIST was and how the ASA was, and not necessarily, obviously it's a big scale. It's like, oh yeah, let's do an ASA, let's just go cross country and do a huge pro tour, and it's obviously not really realistic right now, but that concept makes sense, you know. That's exposed, you know, having the NIST finals on Huntington Beach being exposed to a lot of people, that makes sense. A lot of people see it, and that's where, you know, that's where it all started, you know. And that concept makes sense to me. Like, yeah, touring, you know, and exposing people where people are at. Obi did a great job. Obi did that Blading Cup qualifier. Michael Mendoza, he did Blading Cup qualifier. Well, he did his event at the Love Long Beach Festival, and there was like thousands of people there. Yeah. And I'm not sure how his relationship grew from the guy who ran that event, but he offered it to him. He just said, you could take the parking lot, and he took the parking lot, and they threw an event there, and there's just traffic all day, you know. Yeah. So I don't know. Maybe I can help encourage people to do some sort of things like that.
That's a great approach to mix it with festivals.
Yeah, yeah.
And sense, really. They want people to do things at their festival, so they're going to support you. And
festivals are big. Festivals are everywhere. Some, you know, barbecue festival, music festival, I don't know, anything. Yeah. So, I guess. I think it's possible. I don't see why it's already kind of happening, but if that was happening nationwide, that would be awesome, I guess, you know.
Do you think about like formats of contests?
I do, you know. I actually thought about that. I've had them obviously because of the Blading Cup. I just remember the days when we did runs. Yeah. And we were talking about, you know, how people hate them, but I was thinking about how people I liked them. You know, it was like you got, you know, I thought about Bailey basically because Bailey was so good and so consistent in that contest and that format, and he just could do everything and link it up like Jeff Stockwell.
He's the kind of skater, that would excel in that format.
Exactly. Yeah. So
I think
it's fun to watch, but then you got people like me out there, like can do two tricks and it's like, oh, that's all I got, bro. You know. So there's different kind of, you know, there's like it's fun to watch when, I guess my point is, it's fun to watch when you got people who can do it well. Yeah. Like a Bailey.
It's a certain breed that can really do it well.
Connecting very well and amplitude, and you can go big, you know, like Aragon, you know, like he's a perfect example of that.
It's like you have to be able to, if you're gonna go big, you have to be able to go big in a way that you can keep going. Yeah, like you can't do a big drop to flat.
That's me. Me. That's what I would do every time. I could probably do like a grind down that big thing, and then I'd stop. That was just my style. I was never good at contests. But,
That's funny that you brought up lines, because I've been thinking about how sick lines were, and how sick they could still be, like with the right skaters, like you say. Even with shitty skaters, like it was still fun to watch their run, and I think it was still very interesting for the general public.
What's he gonna do next? You know?
Yeah, it's interesting, and all eyes are on the one person. You know?
Yeah.
As opposed to like a session style or like a heat style where there's many people skating at once. You get like really personal with the one person, and he almost
maybe
has
you root
to be
for him. You're like, yeah, man,
come on,
he's gonna go, and hopefully lands it this time.
Yeah,
no, we didn't. Damn it.
Yeah,
but, I know what you mean.
So it's like figure skating. Like people get figure skating.
What's that? Sorry.
It's like figure skating. Like people understand.
Yeah.
Okay, this person's gonna go, and it's gonna be like 1 or 2 minutes of this one person, and from a broadcast perspective, like for filming it and showing it, runs do make the most sense. You know.
Yeah, it'd be way easier.
Yeah.
You wouldn't have that DSLR footage shaking everywhere, like.
Yeah.
But you know, like the whole movement to the jam format. It's more exciting, I guess. You know.
It allows.
I don't like the jam format because it just keeps going. You know, when you do a run, you're like, that's your time.
That's it. Yep.
That's all you got. In the jam format's like, dude, it's like half an hour, bro. Like.
Yeah, it's really hard to get people to stop. It's like, okay, we're done.
One more trick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, both have their advantages, but the lines contests are kind of a lost art, except for like you got the, I guess, X Games like Asia and stuff like that.
Yeah, actually, no, that's actually that was actually a sick event to me. Like maybe because it was refreshing all the Asian skaters are really consistent. Yeah, they did the runs.
Nice, and you were there at the
I judged
event?
it.
Oh, nice.
I judged it.
Sick.
Yeah, I judged it with Danny LaRoche.
Yeah.
Michael Palick.
Crazy.
John Elliott.
Nice.
And who was the last guy? I think that was it.
Was this
February?
February.
Yeah, the one who won it.
Yeah.
CJ won it.
Right. Yeah, I saw like the television footage.
And then Suichiro, and then Yuto. That was and then Takeshi won the vert.
Yeah, of course.
Of course.
Who's gonna beat him?
Yeah. But yeah, it was it was great because all those dudes are sick at transition, and they can connect lines, and they go big, and they're consistent.
Yeah.
Definitely. So, if you think about it, it emphasizes how professional skaters can be because they are consistent, and they can keep doing it up to a certain level and not fall,
Yeah. And the cardio level and the level of focus, like not to crumble under the pressure, because it is a lot of pressure.
Yeah.
Like, I remember doing it at just like Ghetto Canada contests, and there was a lot of pressure. I couldn't imagine doing it with like television crews and
on stage.
Yeah, like you gotta be able to deal with that and perform when you have to perform. Like it is really admirable, and people would. Yeah, you have to be like a professional athlete to be able to do that.
Matt Salerno.
Yeah, Matt Salerno.
Yeah.
So if you look, because you were at like the heyday of ASA contests and to look at it now, how has the level of skating changed? Because it seems like back then, like there was.
I think the styles were more refined. I would say.
Yeah.
Way more refined. I think it's like the top dudes right now. Like, it's way more like. What's the word? Like modern, maybe. Like it's just.
More control,
refined. Maybe. Like the control thing comes back into play. Like, I mean, like people back then, like there was Matt Salerno, there was Tim Ward.
Feinberg was pretty good.
Feinberg was a bit later, but he was gnarly. He was probably like maybe it's the same level as like a Halfie right now, and like as far as like how big he was going in contests and how consistent he was, like he was definitely ahead of a lot of people with the technicality of the tricks he was doing, but the amplitude, like the true sap, like he would do that down the biggest shit.
Yeah.
Back then it was like people just started doing that trick or something, and he would just do whatever he wanted. And the big 540 transfers, like, is he gonna land that, or like big gaps, and he would just push it. He would push the envelope, and he could probably, he would fit right in to, like, I don't know. I guess this more refined is probably the best way I can describe it as far as the styles and how things look.
Yeah, it's interesting.
What else was skating back then?
It's interesting because the skating is definitely more mature now. The top people are a lot older than they were back then, and that shows in how much control they have on their skates. But it was like back then, like skating those big parks was such a more common thing, and a more like, because ASAs were quite frequent, and there was like a big incentive to be good at runs and to be good at doing what we're talking about, like doing big tricks but keeping the flow and doing everything consistently. Whereas the focus now for the last few years has been more of like the session format.
I mean, one thing is like the tricks. I think one difference is the flow would you always want to have the flow for sure, but the in between tricks would be very basic back then,
Yeah.
Like you do the 540, the 360 here of the box, then you just backside royale the next thing to keep your speed.
Yeah.
And then you do like soul grind the next thing, but then you do an air. It was very.
It's a lot more basic.
Basic, and nowadays obviously the technicality is insane, and the amount of the level of tricks is like light years ahead from those days. So
yeah.
But
like I think no, just in theory, just like, or just imagining a scenario where comps like those ASAs were as prevalent today as they were, the skating would just be unreal.
But
the skating is unreal. But if
Halfie and Aragon were skating them, when they were around, like they were Broscal too, they were qualified through the V Pro through those events, so they had their chance. They had their time, to skate those events for sure. It's a shame they're not around anymore, but
it would be sick.
Maybe it'll happen again.
It might not be like a fun life for them, but it would be so sick to see like a pro tour where there was like 10 of these events a year or something like that, and there was like pretty big cash incentives for these guys to like really compete over and push like that style of skating. Like it would be so beautiful to watch like the top runs, like to see the top Bailey runs.
It's a good opportunity, It's a good opportunity for everyone for the sport to be exposed, also, because it was on TV, and it was not just TV, but it was in the cities, the big cities, where people, thousands of people will come watch. So it's maybe this needs to happen again.
Well,
I guess it goes back to our original talk, our conversation.
Yeah. I'll just totally change the subject. Have you seen Slow-Mo? The documentary, no. Slow-Mo?
What's it about?
It's about a guy who was a doctor for like most of his life, and at an older age he gave it up, and he just like rollerblades on Venice Beach.
Really?
And
interesting.
He's like this older guy, and he skates in a really unique style where he he skates in slow motion where he's like on one foot and his body's like facing forward, and he just loves it. He has like this theory about the mind state that it puts him in, and he talks about all of its meditative qualities, and he just like he skates for hours and hours like every day. Like that's his life now. He just loves rollerblading. It's really, really fascinating. Yeah, I recommend it.
I'll look into it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So he's got enough money in the bank to be able to do that, I guess.
Yeah, he's a doctor.
He need money.
He apparently he just like has a really simple life.
Yeah.
A small condo, basically a nice cheap retirement life, and he just rollerblades. He just loves to rollerblade, yeah. And the documentary is super, super well done. It's pretty short. It's a shorter documentary. It's like 15 minutes. But
is it brand new? It just came out, or?
It came out, I don't know, maybe 5 or 6 months ago.
Okay.
But
I'll look into it.
Yeah. For sure. You recently, or maybe not so recently, but David Sizemore's like on the Valo team now?
Yeah. Well,
nice.
we already had talked about it. I mean, it's funny because when the edit came out, people are like, about the time, and should happened a long time ago. And it's like, I just like, man, if people don't, I mean, not that they should know, but that's been like we were talking about that like last year already, you know, like he was been doing so much for the brand and just promoting, you know, the skates, and he was always around. He was always at my house, or we'd be on tour together somehow, like we were in Russia, or things were happening. We're already doing stuff, basically. That's my point. Yeah. And the edit came out May, or what month was that? So it's like, to me, he's been working on that for a while, and I don't know. Anyway, he's on. Yeah.
Cool.
I don't know. I'm just thinking about that because it's like people think that the decision was made like yesterday when it was like a while ago.
Yeah.
But it goes back to the same thing though. There's only so much that can be done.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, it's like.
And you want to keep it as good as you can for the existing guys.
Exactly, and it's tough.
Yeah.
And but David obviously deserves it. You know, he's amazing. So
yeah,
that's not like any secret for sure. He definitely deserves to be, you know, up there with everybody else.
Yeah.
But
he's incredible. Yeah. And he's young too, isn't he? Isn't he pretty young?
Yeah, I think he's like 25 maybe.
Okay. Weird. 24? It's weird that 25 is young now.
24. Yeah, I think it's 25. Mid-20s.
Cause it used to be like 15 was young.
Yeah. Well, when I started, I felt old.
Yeah.
How about that? I was 18 when I was starting to travel and all that stuff, so.
And you felt old?
18, 19. I already felt old because I was with Randy the whole time.
Yeah. And he was
Randy was 15. How old is he? No, he's like 34 now. Yeah, so. Like 14, 15.
Crazy.
Yeah. So I felt old right away, and the behind, like, damn, I need to catch up with this kid. Those are tough times.
Yeah.
Me and him been through a lot together. And it's funny that now he's my neighbor. After all these years, we still like are next to each other somehow. But,
yeah, that's a long friendship.
Yeah, it's crazy. Cause like when I started getting sponsored, it was like 95. And he was already hooked up, you know. And I'd take my first trips just for 50/50 back then, because my first sponsor was 50/50. I also had a skate shop sponsor in Fremont called The Station, but for trips, like I would go to LA. Oh, sorry, Laguna Beach a lot, because that's where Daily Bread was, and that's where Jess lived. And we'd do a lot of film shoots, and back then there was like a lot of Australians were around, like Tom Fry was around. Like my first session in Southern California for VG3 was with Tom Fry, Brian Konoski, Arlo was there, Jess Deerenforth, and Roadhouse. And I was like blown away, you know, like holy shit. And we're shooting for VG3, and yeah, I'm just reminiscing right now. But that was like one of the first real exposures I had, and Randy was this. There's a scene in VG3 where we're in USCLA, and Randy does like, I think it was Mizu, the transfer frontside down this square rail, and then I come off to the end. It's nighttime. I'm like, oh, that was sick. I don't know if you remember that, but that was in his part in VG3, and that was like one of my first sessions. And Tom Fry was there, and Arlo, and yeah, those were really crazy times. Because after that, it just didn't stop. Like,
yeah,
I was on the road all the time. I was traveling, and '96 came around, and I started getting better in transitions. I started skating better, and I think I won NIST that year. After I won NIST, I was skating for Rossi's, and they were like, "Oh, you want to go to Europe?" And I was like, "Yeah, I want to go to Europe. You know, okay, we're gonna bring you on this trip. You're gonna go to Spain, and then you're gonna go to Zurich, Switzerland, and then you're gonna go to Chicago. And you're gonna go to Chicago for back then it was called the scrap contest.
Yeah,
and those were pretty big back then." I was like, okay, you know. So I won this, and then straight to Europe, went to Spain, and back then it was Barcelona. That was like my first trip to Barcelona, and I went there with Burke Howard Smith, Andy Cruz was there. I can't remember who else was there, but and I won that contest. I won 2 contests in a row, and I was like, holy shit, I won, sick, you know. And then and I went to another contest in Zurich, and this was a bigger one. It was kind of like Lausanne back in the day. It was called the Rolling, I can't remember right now, but it was a big contest, a lot of people, big vert ramp, street course. I went there with Roadhouse, I think. I went there with Roadhouse. I think I was there with Roadhouse, and I won that one. And I was like, "Wow, dude! I can't." You know, I was on cloud 9. I couldn't believe it, you know.
Yeah.
But then after that, I hadn't won a contest till like 1999, so it was like 3-year drought. But
back then, was there good prize money when you won those events?
I know, not really. No. Like when I won this, it was like $1,500, and when I won the Spain one, it was
back
more,
in those days. That's like $20,000, isn't it?
Yeah, for a kid, it was good. You know, like you're getting a couple grand. It's like, oh shit, let's go. You know, I don't know.
Fuck yeah.
And then I won the ones in Europe were more because they were like a couple, maybe like $1,000 more, maybe.
Yeah.
But then, yeah, I don't even remember, to be honest.
Yeah.
I didn't really care. I think I was just stoked.
Yeah.
To be in Europe, you know.
That's a pretty amazing.
But it was funny.
lifestyle.
It was funny because one moment I do remember was getting off the plane, getting into. Do you know skateboarding? You know a lot about skateboarding, like pros and stuff.
Yep.
Who those people are. I know a lot about skateboarding as well. I grew up around it, and I get off the plane with Randy. I meet Randy at the airport, and we get in this shuttle, right? I get in this shuttle. I look in this shuttle. It's Tony Hawk, Danny Way, Mark Gonzalez, and Cole McKay. And I'm looking at them like, and it's me and Randy. And I don't think Randy didn't know. I don't think Randy knew who they were. He didn't care if he did anyway. But I just, to this day, I'll never forget it because it was just so weird, you know. Because there was a vert demo, and then they had a skateboarding demo on the same course that we had a contest at, and But it's just strange, I guess, just seeing like, because it was a big event for them, it's a big event for us, and now seeing how their events are just so much like insane on on a bigger scale. Whereas back then, rollerblading was in the first X Games.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and we were going to events like every weekend. Like Roadhouse was never home. I was never home. It was just like a constant. Where are you going next? I don't know. Where are you? Oh, you gonna? Okay. Well, I'll meet you there, I guess. So, it was pretty crazy. It was like always something going on.
Yeah. Did you enjoy that, or was it stressful at all, or did you just love it?
I enjoyed it. I didn't like the contest part when I lost, when I wasn't doing well.
Yeah,
I didn't like that, and I that's the only thing I probably didn't like. But whenever we did a demo, whenever we did stuff like that, I feel like I always did the best that I could, and I like that part. I like going, with the kids and just meeting people from all over and being exposed to different places I'd never been to before. But I didn't really appreciate it enough. Also, I didn't see enough sites, or I didn't, visit. When I was in Europe, I didn't go see, museums, or I didn't do it enough. Basically, I was just there for skating, and then left, and didn't really. Like nowadays, if you got a trip to go somewhere, it's like at least spend another week to go see some shit, or skate or street skate more, or do something cultural. So, and really appreciate where you're at and kind of understand more of like why things are there. That sculpture is like there for a reason. It's there for thousands of years. You should probably maybe like figure out why it's there, or what
just the type of things that like a 38-year-old guy would appreciate as opposed to a 20-year-old.
Yeah, there you're just like, let's go to the bar, when you're 20. Let's go. Yeah. I don't know, but I loved it. That's the best part is traveling.
Yeah.
So, and back then there was more money, and you were invited to do more things. There's I don't know, like the MTV Music Festival, stuff like that. Can't think. There's like, I remember just traveling a lot for like how many years? Like 6 years straight.
Wow.
But the tough part too was just like when like Randy left, he went to Rollblade, or like Josh said, I'm doing this new project.
Petty.
Like, okay. Yeah. Because he was on Rossi's too at the time. Or was he on Rossi's? Yeah, he was. And he was like, yeah, I'm going to do this new project. I was like, really? Like, yeah. You want to be a part of it? I was like, what are you doing with? Like, this company called Upside Down. And I was like, really? Like, he's like, yeah. Like, I can't remember all the details right now, but end of the day, it was like, he left, and then was that just me? It might have been me, and like as far as street skaters goes, like, it was like there was no one else to hang out with basically. And then I had Cosmo then, I had 50/50, so I was still doing cool stuff with the smaller brands, like England and creating and stuff like that. But then I was like, all right, what's my next move? Or is this going to be where I want to be at, or this USD thing looks like it's going to be cool. So I got approached by, was it Matthias then, or I can't remember who it was, but we all had a meeting, and this whole the whole USD concept was formed, and we had to sacrifice though. We had to sacrifice pay and all this stuff, and to create this new thing, and then in hopes that it would develop into, a profitable project that everyone can eventually make more money on. And it grew, it got better, it obviously worked, but it was definitely scary back then, because it was like secure. I felt like, I can go on to the next trip or whatever, but I think I felt like, well, if there's no one there to do it with, that all the homies are gone, then what's the point? I guess to a certain degree, you know. Like I have a certain vision. Everyone has a certain vision on where they want to be at, and involved in, and creatively express themselves through a brand, you know. And this cool thing was about to be formulated, so that's where USD kind of developed into. Obviously Arlo was involved, and just Dustin, Champion, Shima, eventually, you know. I think with it, I don't know who the original ones. I think it was me, Dustin at first, Josh, Arlo, then Kevin eventually, and then Shima.
I think Champion was on it.
Yeah, Champion was on there. And then that was it. And then we shot that ad. It was a sick ad that Shane made. I don't know if you remember. It's like the emblem in the back, all orange, and then we're all kind of just standing around in front of this Photoshop emblem. It was sick. It was exciting back then, but it was a new, refreshing thing.
Yeah.
But
yeah, from a Grom perspective, the USD team was like the tits. It was like really exciting to see all those guys assembled into this new.
It was like an
product.
Alternative thing.
Yeah.
Like you had Rollblading, you had Rossies, and then you had K2. It's like, and then you had this thing. What is this?
Yeah.
USD. Whoa. And these guys are doing it. Like it definitely had way more edge for sure. You know.
Oh, for sure. It was legit. Very exciting.
Yeah. Yeah, crazy times. A lot of good moments, and we did a lot, all of us, and it kind of obviously went different ways, you know. Louis got involved too eventually. Shima went to go to Razors, and then Louis and Randy started doing Deshi. Also, that was kind of formulating. And this is all kind of over a period of time, but
yeah.
And I was, to be honest, I was pretty bummed on the whole Deshi thing. Not pretty bummed, I was kind of bummed, you know, like when the whole thing started, because I didn't really know about it. I heard about something, and then Louis and Randy were working on something, and I was like, okay, that's cool. And they had Second Regime, but they had their own brand, you know. They're working on their own thing. They had Deshi and it was just a weird change of pace with everything. I remember because we had a pretty big team also. Abdil, Richard. I don't know where I'm getting at with this, but I eventually move on to do my own thing. I guess that's fine.
Yeah. But like it freaked you out when Louis and Randy left to do Deshi?
It didn't freak me out. It just made me feel like, wait, you know, like I've been here the longest. I'm the oldest too, and an opportunity came up and it wasn't mine, basically. You know, like maybe it wasn't my idea. It wasn't me to push it on to, like, yeah, maybe I should do something now, you know. And
right.
I had talks with them, you know, with USD, and they're like, we really want you to be the face of USD. We really want you to be this, you know, because you're one of the more dominant people as far as people look at USD as Jon, you know, and that was kind of like what I got gathered from it. Maybe back then it was a different story. This is what I'm feeling right now, basically. So that was cool. That I was like, you know what, okay, you know. There was so much going on at the time. Like, there's so many projects happening. IMYT was also happening. You know, the rolling game was happening. There's a lot of traveling still, and England was doing his thing, and so it was like a lot to handle, I guess what I'm trying to say, at those periods of time, for me at least. It wasn't very simple.
Yeah.
It was a lot. I wish it was more simple. I wish everything was more simple. But
yeah, a lot of egos involved, and a lot of different people's businesses involved.
I wouldn't say egos. I just, it's just more of a, everyone need to create and develop, you know. And I think that's what USD was trying to do. They were trying to expand and give more opportunity, which is not a bad thing. More opportunity for more skaters. More opportunity to get people behind the brand or something like this, you know.
Yeah.
I can get it. I can get it with it, and I'm like, yeah. And I understand. You know, the team was huge. Also, we had, you know, there was a lot of people on USD.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So then, what was the push to leave USD?
Opportunity and just opportunity. And with Rossi's, for me it was like starting fresh, you know, and having a solid base and having a manufacturing brand, a company that can manufacture a really good product. Like, that's like, if you have a good product, like, that's ultimately what you're riding on, you know. And everything, oh man, like just being there, you know, in Italy and seeing the factories and seeing everything being made, you know, handmade, hand stitched, everything glued, and, you know, everything's just like in your face and you can smell it, you know. It's like, there's nothing like how we develop skates. Like, it's a resource that I'm so fortunate to be able to be involved in and so proud of, man. Like, I don't think people really understand when, like, I took a bunch of pictures. I don't know if you saw them online, but
yeah, I did. At
like,
the factory.
It doesn't do it justice to say like hand stitched for 70 years, or, you know, like, or this is like created by this lady right here. Like,
yeah.
I don't know. It's like, for me, I'm so proud of it and so like amazed that Valo is capable of becoming this thing. Like, this is it, you know. I can see it.
Yeah.
It's like incredible to me, you know. But going back to that whole involvement and being, you know, able to do my own thing with Rossi's, it just made sense. There's no way the opportunity to do something like that can happen anywhere else, you know.
Yeah.
As far as being able to manufacture such a great product, and, you know, Italian made, and to create my own thing. Like, I had an idea of what my brand would be like, you know, like, and I was able to create something, you know. It was definitely scary. I was definitely like nervous and not sure how people were going to react and what was wrong. You know, I was learning so much. I still had so much to learn on how to run the business and the shops and who was buying. We're in the down market. You know, it was 2002 when all this stuff was happening. The market was shit. You know, like, it was just like, blading was like not cool, right? Those years.
Yeah.
Like, it wasn't cool anymore. Like, people were not buying blades. And was it the right time to do this? You know?
Yeah.
But what I did, and 11 years later,
wow.
Still here.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean,
that's crazy that it's been 11 years.
Yeah, tell me about it. Not easy crazy. Years.
Yeah.
At all, but I'm fortunate. I'm very fortunate. Very, very fortunate. I'll say it a million times, you know. To be able to still, have this podcast with you and talk about this company that I created, and it's still able to tick, you know, and a concept that started from nothing, and, you know, it's pretty incredible. going back to the manufacturing, I got to see a skate develop from just materials, like not like it's like a flat. There's just a bunch of here's the materials for the uppers, here's the plastics, and I got to see it created from A to Z, And
so all in one place they sew the liners and they.
Oh no, it's 3 different places.
Okay.
It's not like the majority of the skate is not even made in Rossi's factory. There's 2 different factories. One specializes in there's 3. One specializes in the boots, and they have the machines to create from plastic to the molding of the boot to creating the boot, the V13 M12 boot, and then a different factory. These factories aren't that big. They're not that big. They're like, one of them is like a garage almost.
Yeah.
But it's all in Italy. It's pretty incredible.
Yeah.
One place does the liners, like you saw that in the update. And this lady's been sewing boots and shoes and everything, like all kinds of stuff for 60 years. Her family. So all the companies out there, for the most part, are family run. It's pretty incredible. Like Rossi's is a family run business.
Yeah.
They're owned by the Cavison family, and this place where we get the liners from is a family run business. It's this lady and her son. They run the whole thing, and then another place is called Poker. It's another factory, and they do the uppers. They do the skins, and this guy owns it with her, and their mom and dad are there. They're in the office. They're in there. And it's like, it's crazy. It's like pretty incredible. And they're all so proud of what they make. You can just see it. Everything is just like the craftsmanship and everything is insane. Like there's a few pictures I have of the skin factory. And that lady is just amazing, dude. She just cutting to gluing to stitching to using the machine. Like, she knows exactly every move she's doing. Like, how we say control,
Yeah.
She's controlling, like, from A to Z, dude. It's like, it blows my mind. I've seen it before. I go there every year. But every time I go there, it's like, it's insane. I don't know. Very fortunate to just have the resources to do what we're doing,
Totally. It's very cool.
Yeah.
Well, this was really awesome, Jon. I'm really happy that you were able to do it.
It's been over an hour. It's been
slightly over 2 hours.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Hopefully, that's a lot of talking.
It was really good. It was really interesting to hear a lot of your stories, and we could probably do like 20 hours of conversation and not run out of topics. There's a lot of them. Yeah. Very interesting. But thank you so much for doing this. My listeners are going to be super stoked.
Yeah. How's this work? Is it going to be like cut up or?
No.
Are you just going to press play?
I just throw it up. Yeah.
Great.
Yeah.
Hopefully I don't piss anybody off. I don't know. I didn't say anything too offensive.
No, I don't think you did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks for the opportunity, though.
No problem, man.
It was good.
Yeah.
It was good to reminisce and talk about shit from a long time ago. So.
For sure. I'm glad you had fun.
Yeah. Thank you.
And good luck with Blading Cup and everything.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah. I'm looking forward to it.
Cool.
Keep in touch, huh?
Yeah, for sure. All right. Okay. Peace, Jon.
Let me know what I can do with help.
Yeah, for sure.
Or whatever. Yep.
Yeah.
All right.
Peace.